So I was talking to my friend Chris at Japanese Classics, and he was like, you know what? You should just get the Beat. It's gonna be a lot more fun. It's a convertible. You're gonna have, you know, it feels a little bit more powerful than an Acti. And I was like, you know what? All right, let's do it then.
Did you ever test drive the car before you bought it?
Sight unseen. So, you know, I trust the guys over there. They were awesome. They had like literally 100 pictures, video, gave me a breakdown of everything about the car. So, you know, they shipped it over here, and then when I picked it up, perfect. Started up, and I've been dailying it ever since.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to Automotive Anatomy. Today we have Louis. Louis, dude.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for making time for us, man.
Yeah.
This is your daily.
It is my daily.
You're crazy.
Oh man.
Tell us, what do you drive, man?
So basically, this is a 1991 Honda Beat. You know, for those of you who don't know, this was basically a JDM only car. It's a Kei car. So basically, you know, it's less on taxes for the Japanese folks, and then you know, it's smaller than a regular car, so you don't need to pay for extra parking and stuff.
Smaller.
So
how long have you had it? Where did you pick it up from, man?
So I've had it for, I think it's going on 4 years now. I bought it in Virginia from Japanese Classics. So shout out to Japanese Classics. But they were freaking awesome. So the car, I got it pretty much, it had a body kit on it and some T37s. But since then I put coilovers, kind of changed up the front end a little bit, and put Meisters on there. So
how did you stumble upon this car? I mean, what was your thought process, you know, when you're looking for a car?
All right, so there's this company called Backyard Special, and they specialize in K trucks. Basically, there's a Honda Acti, basically a pickup truck version of this car. So that's what my wife and I originally wanted to get. We're like, we need a pickup truck, but we don't want a big one. So let's get a small one instead, and you know, modify it. So I was talking to my friend Chris at Japanese Classics, and he was like, you know what? You should just get the Beat. It's gonna be a lot more fun. It's a convertible. You're gonna have, you know, it feels a little bit more powerful than an Acti. And I was like, you know what? All right, let's do it then.
Did you ever test drive the car before you bought it?
Sight unseen. So, you know, I trust the guys over there. They were awesome. They had like literally 100 pictures, video, gave me a breakdown of everything about the car. So, you know, they shipped it over here, and then when I picked it up, perfect. Started up, and I've been dailying it ever since. So,
man, dailying it.
Yeah. So, but you know, I think, I'm not 100% sure on this one, but I have claimed personally that this is the only turboed Honda Beat in the United States.
I heard that the turbo when you came in. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe somebody will be like, my friend's friend's backyard, bro, had it back in '02, bro. What are you talking about? Okay.
Yeah. But so far, no one's corrected me, so you know, I'm going with it.
Yeah. So that should be a lot of fun. How much does this car weigh?
I think from the factory it's like 1,500 pounds. But since then, you know, I put Meisters on there, and they're 15s. I think original is like 13, 14 stagger. But other than that, I don't think it breaks 2,000 pounds, you know?
And what was this your original vision for it?
You know, I didn't really have like a concrete vision when I got the car, because, you know, like I said, you know, we wanted the pickup truck. And then once I got this, it was just, you know, I kind of went for it, you know? There's really no other modified Honda Beats in the States.
Now that I've seen.
Yeah, so, pretty much I just went on Japanese forums and things like that, and used Google Translate to try to figure out what they're saying, and just kind of went from there. But thank God for Instagram, you know.
Seriously.
Try to figure out what we can do. But
all right, so let's start talking a little bit about the outside of your car. Tell us, what do you have going on in the front?
Okay, so the front, besides the peel and clear coat on the hood, basically these are custom headlights. They just have like an RS Mark headlight cover retrofitted over, so the original OEM headlights had those flutes on there, and it was yellowing and stuff, so got rid of that. Did the projector retrofit with HIDs. Basically it's a factory front bumper and just a JDM lip. And I guess kind of going from here, you know, I mentioned the Meisters again. They're actually EG Civic brakes.
So that's an upgrade, right? It's much bigger?
Yeah, definitely. It actually stops, which is great.
And you need it because you're spooling a little bit, so you gotta stop.
Yeah, definitely.
And tell us the size of the wheels.
The wheels are 15, 6.5. I believe they're like plus 30 or something like that. I always forget the offset.
Okay.
And
what kind of suspension? I mean, how hard is it to come up with the,
what's funny is BC Racing actually had a set.
Way. For this car specifically?
Yeah, for a Honda Beat.
I swear, they make coilovers for every dang car.
It was nuts. So, yeah, I went with that, but it didn't really go that low. And so basically, I got 100 millimeter 326 power springs.
Okay.
So I got 12K in the front and 14K in the rear.
Damn.
It's a little more hard, but,
but the good thing, you live in LA where the roads are really perfect, right? So you don't.
Oh yeah.
You don't worry about that 12K.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think I had to replace my kidney a couple of times, but it was alright.
Oh man.
But basically, it's not that most ideal setup, but I'm drooping the springs and trying to get as low as I possibly can. But I kind of want to switch it up in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
So at least I don't rub though. That's good.
That's good. That's good. Okay. Tell us a little bit about the back, because you have.
Yeah, it got little fender flares on it. Basically, I didn't really do too much research before getting the wheels and how much pull that I could do in the back.
Sounds like a car enthusiast.
Yeah. So I got the wheels and fitted up, and I had so much poke. I tried to pull the fender, but I guess like the width of the rear quarter panel is so much smaller than a normal car, so the pulling did not happen as planned. Yeah, so to pretty much hide it, I got fender flares, kind of cut it up, but ultimately the end goal is to get a proper wide body and we'll work from there.
And do they have a wide body for this car?
That company that I mentioned before earlier, Backyard Special, is they're really the only people who make I guess aftermarket aero in a sense. So they're JDM only, unfortunately, so it's been kind of like a waiting game.
Well, you picked one of the hardest cars to mod, so you gotta you can't complain. Yeah. Okay, so ultimately you want to do a little wide body, but those flares, I think the paint match is very spot on, and it flows. It flows nicely, and the fender has a nice design to it that it flows. So
yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah. So it worked out a little bit better than I had imagined it. I think I did the flares, what was it, for Tuner Evo a couple of years ago, and I did it the night before. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to go to the show with like a messed up quarter panel, so I pulled the trigger at like 6 p.m. and then I was like, all right, I gotta get it done. So
cut the shit up at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
There's no turning back.
Yeah. So then I stayed up the entire night and then fell asleep at the entire show, naturally.
So you're one of those guys, huh? Yeah. All right, so tell us about this wing, because it reminds me of the 326.
That's exactly what it is, the 326 power wing.
Wow, it flows so nicely for the fact that the car is so small.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I got a lot of crap for it at first because, I just had pictures of it and then everyone's like, oh, it's going to be too big, it's going to look wonky.
Right.
But I pulled the trigger, I got it, put it on, and I was like, hey, I have a little bench.
And what other suspension pieces do you have going on?
Okay, so in the back, funny enough, Megan Racing, those are Megan Racing arms that are kind of modified to fit. The toe arms, I believe, I got them from an Accord, and then the control arms, I got it from a Civic, and then pretty much the dimensions were kind of close, but I just had to kind of cut them up and readjust the length of them, but it works out pretty good. And otherwise, I was able to kind of get the alignment right, but unfortunately, there's no alignment shop near us that has a rack narrow enough to fit the Beat. So I've been having to
never thought about that.
Yeah, it never crossed my mind either. So,
oh shit! Says the owner of the car.
Yeah. So I sent pictures to the alignment shop that I was recommended to, and then I drove up there, and they're like, "Oh man, like we could probably put you on there, but it's gonna be a little unsafe." So yeah, they didn't want to do it, which is totally understandable.
That's so funny though, man. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Luis, so tell us, man, what do you got going on in the interior?
All right, so first things first is I had to change the seats out.
Why is that?
The factory seats are this zebra print, if you will.
Really?
So it was a little ugly, a little bit worn out. The wire was kind of poking at my kidneys, so I decided to get these Recaro LXs. So they are adjustable and they barely fit, but they are more comfy. Otherwise, I have the Momo Prototipo steering wheel, and a custom 4-point roll bar. So
wow.
You know, I don't. I know it's a death trap, but you know, it kind of makes me feel safe. So, but otherwise, I got a Mr. Grip shift knob, yeah. So with the cherry blossoms in there to kind of pay homage to the Japanese theme. And the only other gauge besides the cluster I have is just a Greddy boost gauge. So otherwise, yeah, the interior is pretty much factory. You know, it has the optional gather speakers. So yeah, got a little bit of thump. It's nice.
And what are the future plans for it in the interior?
For the interior, probably not too much. The only thing I really want to do is put a double din in there, but you know, it's kind of a fiasco in it because it's much narrower. So standard, you know, double dins don't fit in there. So they make this fiberglass insert, but it's kind of a little hard to get my hands on.
Well, so, I'm assuming almost anything on this car is very hard to get.
Yeah. Luckily though, you know, the guys, I use Japan Parts Service a lot. So they, you know, if there's anything that I need to get, they're my guys. They ship it right to me. It's been working out pretty good. So, but yeah, I can't complain.
What do you mean you can't see the engine? So, holy crap, you cannot see the engine.
So basically you work on it. There's an access panel up top. But from there, it's really not too much of a vantage point, if you will. So.
Okay, so this is gonna be different then.
A little bit, yeah.
So tell us about the engine compartment that we can't see.
All right, so basically, you know, my battery died, so I just got to keep that in there. But I could put my lunchbox in there, which is nice. But ultimately, the only thing that you guys can see really is when I put the turbo on, I kind of made a makeshift plenum, if you will, with the intercooler piping to adapt to it, whereas the OEM kind of had the air box in that area. But it's a mid-engine, it's a 3-cylinder 660cc. I added the GT 1241 with Civic EG injectors as an upgrade.
Holy shit.
So,
okay.
It's basically, you know, it's a really, you know, standard, well, I wouldn't really say standard, but really easy built turbo kit, if you will. Yeah, basically I just used the missing link and an SAFC to power it, and I'm only running 7 pounds of boost.
That's quite a bit for this car. Only? What do you mean only? That's quite a bit.
So it's working out pretty good. I dynoed it before I turboed, and when it was completely factory, I got 42 to the wheels.
Damn. And it was speeding tickets everywhere.
Dude, it was scary.
VTEC kicking in all the time, right? Yeah. So then after the dyno?
And after the dyno, we got about 76 to the wheels, I believe. So yeah.
Double?
Yeah, it almost doubled. It was awesome.
To the wheels, so yeah, it pretty much double.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yep.
Damn, I'm sure you feel it.
Oh yeah, it's a totally different car. You know, I could actually go up hills without having to, you know, go foot to floor and like just ride out first gear all the way. So, and I could catch up the traffic on the highway, which is nice. So
you can kind of flow with the traffic.
Yeah, kind of flow.
Catch up. What are you talking about?
So,
oh man.
But yeah, it was if anybody wants to get a beat and turbo it, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
So,
now, did you do the work yourself?
I did. Everything.
How hard was that?
You know, it's like turboing it like a Civic, if you will, you know?
Yeah, but in the Civic, you can see the motor.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
So, luckily, this engine is kind of on a slant. So you could see the exhaust manifold and everything when you're underneath the car. So, granted, you're not hovering over the engine bay, but working on it from underneath. So, you know, besides the space constraints, it wasn't the worst.
It wasn't too bad?
Yeah, so.
Man, so what are the future plans for it?
You know, I really want to reroute the turbo and the exhaust. I kind of did it in a hurry when I first did it. So it would be nice to kind of relocate the oil return and kind of have a sump, if you will. So it kind of backs up into the turbo now when I'm like on a steep incline, which is a little
sketchy.
Yeah, a little sketchy.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, just kind of clean up the intercooler piping and redo the exhaust. So
what's wrong with the exhaust?
Nothing really.
I like it.
Yeah.
Like, then don't do it.
Yeah, I might keep it, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to clean it up and make it nice and tidy. So a lot of the things were rushed at the time. So now that I have a little bit more equipment in my garage, I think I just want to do it properly. Yeah.
And it opens up like this.
Yeah. So basically,
what a view! Look at that. Oh my goodness, that's a race car right there.
Yeah. You know, don't mess with me. But yeah.
So pretty much in the front, what do we got going on?
So in the front, it's pretty much factory. I got the spare tire still in there, but basically underneath I guess the plate that holds the spare tire acts as like a little baffle of sorts, because the radiator kind of sits right underneath. It's almost semi-V mounted, if you will.
Isn't the radiator supposed to get air?
Yeah, so it kind of like sucks in under. There's kind of like an empty space underneath.
Okay.
So
these Japanese, they don't know how to fucking build a car, huh?
yeah, I know, man. It's like they're doing it for the first time. It's weird. But yeah, under the hood, I don't really think I'm gonna do too much. I kind of like the factory look of it. Otherwise, it would be nice to have a little bit more storage. So that's the only other thing that I've been thinking of. But
are you thinking of tracking the car?
You know, if I didn't ruin it with the suspension, I would totally do it. You know, going to Angeles Crest, for example, it's phenomenal. As a factory car with proper suspension, you know, going uphill is kind of a struggle, but going downhill, you could go foot to floor and like get into the turns at like 80 miles an hour, and it just
that's so sketchy.
Yeah, but it's awesome. So, but yeah, I really should. It's a fun car.
All right, Louis, so tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel. What does it entail, and what can people expect from when they watch your videos?
Basically, it's just something my wife and I do. We make things and kind of like show people how we go about making it. You know, furniture, random trinkets, and you know, electronics and things like that. You know, we just try to have fun, something that my wife and I can both enjoy do together.
A lot of do-it-yourself kind of things, and the process learning, and the process maybe saving some money.
Exactly, and kind of just showing people like it's not so scary to kind of dive into try something new. You know, we're not experts in anything, and we just want to show you, hey, it's okay to mess up, but it looks cool. So and just have fun with it.
As long as it kind of works.
Yeah.
So I'll probably be checking out your channel so I can come up with some ideas, because I am a horrible builder. Even with directions, I'm still gonna build it the wrong way.
You know what? Every flaw is definitely a piece to kind of take home, because it makes it your own. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, the channel is Imi Made. So it's a combination of my wife and my name, and you know, we make stuff. So you know, I'd be glad for you guys to check it out. It's awesome.
Sweet, man. We'll definitely be checking it out. All right, Louis, well, thank you so much for taking the time for, you know, to show us your car. It's a wicked project. I really do like it, man. What are the future plans and any shout outs?
You know, well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. You know, the future plans for the car, I'd say, you know, just obviously clean up the exterior, and what I mentioned before is the little bit of wide body, and just kind of enjoy it. Just, you know, love the car for the rest of however long I have it. And yeah, otherwise the shout outs, you know, Japanese Classics, they hooked me up with a fantastic car, and Japan Parts Service for always hooking me up with JDM parts. Awesome. So,
man, well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
And I can't believe this is your daily driver. This is just insane.
Yeah.
It's just so freaking cool that in LA you get to drive your, you know, I guess stock normal car, and then you just pull up on the freeway on the street and there's Louis with his little car, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, man. Can't wait for the future plans for this. And I know you take it to the canyons, but it'd be cool to see this in the track.
Oh, definitely. So yeah, it needs to yeah, stretch its legs out one of these days. So.
All right, well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Oh, damn it.
Battery?
Yeah, I left the lights on last night. So.
Okay, I'm not getting out. It took me an hour to get in. I'm not getting out. So automotive anatomy today here in Japan.